All right, guys, when it comes to what's going on in politics today, just when we thought we've heard it all on a Sunday morning and afternoon, we've already heard in regards to Senator Joe Manchin saying that he's voting no on the American Family Plan, which is the infrastructure bill, which is the family stimulus bill.
I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no.
And yet we're now hearing from Senator Bernie Sanders in regards to his response to what Joe Manchin is doing and hoping that they can still get this bill passed in the up and coming months. Also, in a couple of weeks, starting in late December, those first checks will be going out for the cost of living increase for Social Security. We're going to talk about all this here on Mostly Money. Well, my name is Andre, and you're watching Mostly Money, where you're going to get all facts, no fake, no phony, and no fluffed up information when it comes to what's going on in politics today. And if you're interested in getting the truth on a daily basis, well, you've made it to the right channel. All you need to do for yourself now is subscribe. Click that bell notification so you get the latest and greatest information coming from Mostly Money, because we're going to always be here for you and your loved ones. Let's get started. We know that we've got senators such as Bernie Sanders that have been working feverishly to try to get this infrastructure stimulus bill passed. In other words, the Build Back Better plan. He's been trying to fight to make sure that there are changes in there for Medicare and Social Security. He's been fighting to make sure that the child tax credit remains in there at least for another year. He's been fighting to even try to see if we can even get stimulus monies in there. And yet and still, we have senators such as Joe Manchin that are fighting against it. And since Joe Manchin has made his announcement, well, Bernie Sanders has a little announcement himself that he'd like to make. Now, as I mentioned before, we're going to hear from Senator Bernie Sanders with his immediate response to Senator Joe Manchin.
Breaking news this morning, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia has just said he is a no on President Biden's cornerstone legislation, Build Back Better. Take a listen.
I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no.
Does anybody think that it's a coincidence that he went to Fox News instead of going to the president and letting the president know first, or going to his fellow senators and congressmen to know that he was not in agreement with this? I don't think it's a coincidence at all.
On this legislation, I have tried everything I know to do.
Joining us now exclusively to react, the man managing the legislation, Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders of Vermont. So Senator Sanders, Chairman Sanders, Senator Manchin says he can't get there. This is a no. He's tried everything. What's your reaction?
Well, I think he's going to have a lot of explaining to do to the people of West Virginia, to tell them why he doesn't have the guts to take on the drug companies and lower the cost of prescription drugs, why he is not prepared to expand home health care. West Virginia is one of the poorest states in this country. You got elderly people and disabled people who would like to stay at home or forced into nursing homes. He's going to have to tell the people of West Virginia why he doesn't want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. I've been to West Virginia a number of times, and it's a great state, beautiful people, but it is a state that is struggling. And he's going to have to tell the people of West Virginia why he's rejecting what the scientists of the world are telling us, that we have to act boldly and transform our energy system to protect future generations from the devastation of climate change. You know, what's going on now, Jake, in Washington is the big money interests are pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that we continue to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, that the rich do not start paying their fair share of taxes. And I would have hoped that we could have had at least 50 Democrats on board who have the guts to stand up for working families and take on the lobbyists and the powerful special interest.
He's absolutely correct in regards to the fact that Joe Manchin is receiving millions of dollars from lobbyists. Also, Joe Manchin does not want us to change the way in which we receive energy because he has big dollars in coal. So that's another reason why he does that. In regards to West Virginia, Joe Manchin has mastered the art of one thing. If he's mastered anything from being governor to a senator in West Virginia, no matter how poor you individuals in West Virginia are, whether it be your social structure or whether it be just economically, it looks like Joe Manchin has mastered the art of lying to you. He knows how to sit in front of a camera and tell you so many lies that you actually believe it, even though you're looking at your kitchen table and there's not enough food on the kitchen table, and you're looking at your children and they don't even have enough clothes on their backs in West Virginia the way that they should. But at the end of the day, you still continue to find a way to vote this man into office. And many of us still don't understand why.
Have no Republican support. Now, one Republican in the United States Senate or the House, for that matter, is prepared to stand up to the drug companies or the insurance companies or the wealthy. I would hope we would have had 50 Democrats. But if that is the case, then I hope that we will bring a strong bill to the floor of the Senate as soon as we can and let Mr. Manchin explain to the people of West Virginia why he doesn't have the guts to stand up to powerful special interests.
Oh, so you want to vote on it no matter what, even if...
Absolutely. Absolutely. The American people have got to understand what is at stake. For decades now, what Congress has been doing, giving tax breaks to the rich, not standing up to the drug companies, so that we end up paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, ignoring climate change. The President of the United States and almost every Democrat is trying finally to address these issues.
Did you know this was coming?
Mr. Manchin doesn't want to support us. Well, look, we've been dealing with Mr. Manchin for month after month after month. But if he doesn't have the courage to do the right thing for the working families of West Virginia and America, let him vote no in front of the whole world.
So how do you tell somebody out there watching, wondering, how come you couldn't get Joe Manchin on board?
Well, as I've indicated, we're taking on not just Joe Manchin, we're taking on, do you know how much money the pharmaceutical industry has spent in the last year on lobbying alone? Over $300 million, plus campaign contributions, plus all kinds of advertising. Fossil fuel industry is spending a fortune. Let's not kid ourselves. We have a corrupt political system dominated by big money interests. And finally, some of us are saying, let's stand up for working families. Average worker has not seen a pay raise in inflation accounted for dollars in 45 years, while the rich are becoming phenomenally richer. Corporate profits are at an all-time high. And what some of us are saying, maybe, we'll stand up for working families for a change. But apparently we don't have the 50 votes that we need. And I think we take that message right into the 2022 campaigns. Which party, with the exception maybe of one or two people, which party is prepared to do the right things for the elderly, for the children? And by the way, we talk about kids. I want everybody out there to know, if Mr. Manchin votes no, those $300 tax credits that have gone a long way to reducing childhood poverty in America, they're gone. That's over. We cut childhood poverty by over 40%, an extraordinary accomplishment. Manchin doesn't want to do that. Tell that to the struggling families of West Virginia and America.
So you're suggesting he doesn't have the guts to stand up for working families and to take on the moneyed interests. If Senator Manchin were here, he would say, my state is a state that voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. What I'm doing and going after and opposing this legislation will be popular. And Manchin has said he thinks all this money, he's saying all this money is going to make inflation worse.
Well, let me talk about it. Joe Manchin voted for a huge increase in military spending. Manchin voted for an infrastructure bill, which added $250 billion to the deficit. The truth of the matter is that if you look at the military budget, $770 billion, times that by 10 years, it is 4 times higher than what the Build Back Better plan is.
We spend billions upon billions on our military. Being one of the most protected countries in the world means that we're becoming one of the most impoverished countries, meaning that you cannot depend on your government to help you when you're in need, but yet it's your tax money that they're using. What's the purpose in being so protected when you can't be provided for? But as he just said it, we are starting to become a corrupt corporation. And that's what the United States is starting to look like around the world.
Now, Mr. Manchin says he's representing the people of West Virginia. Okay, why don't you do a poll? It's CNN, do a poll. And you ask the people of West Virginia whether or not they want to lower the cost of prescription drugs. You ask them whether they want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. You ask them whether they want to continue the $300 payment to help working parents in these very difficult times bring up their kids with dignity. Ask them if they want to deal with climate change. On all of those issues, I suspect people of West Virginia, like every other state in this country, will say, yes, do the right thing for working families.
Is there a
And I challenge. You know, I told Manchin, by the way, I'll pay for the damn poll in West Virginia on those issues. See how the people of West Virginia feel.
Is there a strategy forward? Is there a way to pass parts of this legislation piecemeal, assuming that you do bring it forward for a vote and assuming Joe Manchin is one of 51 who vote against it?
Well, the problem that we have is that obviously you need 60 votes. We have no support from Republicans to pass standing legislation. So it has to be done through reconciliation. So I haven't thought about that yet. But all I do know is that the dividing line in this country is going to be very clear.
The sad part also is that, as I mentioned before, the reason why we have Bernie Sanders responding to this is because they didn't know. The president did not know that Joe had already come to the conclusion of, I'm not voting for it at all. Bernie didn't know. Chuck Schumer didn't know. Mitch McConnell probably didn't know. Nancy Pelosi didn't know. And a lot of Congress did not know that this man was going to personally try to destroy the Build Back Better plan to get monies out to you. As I mentioned in the other video, when it came to railroads and streets and when it came to building bridges, Joe Manchin had no problem with saying, let's go ahead and pass that bill, the American Rescue Plan. Now, when it's time for the American Family Plan, which is the Build Back Better, once again, these senators are playing the same games they always do. And that's why I say in 2022, it's time for us to vote them out. Now it's a countdown for those first cost of living increase payments. They're scheduled to go out on December 30th. So many of you will begin to receive those payments earlier than January. They aren't telling who's going to get theirs first in December compared to those that are going to be getting theirs in January. We're going to keep you posted on updated information. But as for now, that 5.9 increase will be going on checks starting in December, not in January. So look forward to that in a couple of weeks. We're going to keep you guys posted on that. Well, my name is Andre of Mostly Money, and I'm here to give you all facts, no fake, no phony, and no fluffed up information when it comes to what's going on in politics today. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video with others because it's very important that we all have proper information. Well, I'm on my way to the comment section because you know me, I'm always in the comment section. So I'll meet you guys there. And if I don't get a chance to speak to you and you don't get a chance to speak to me, we're not going to fret about it because I'll be speaking to you again mañana. All right, guys, when it comes to what's going on in politics today, just when we thought we've heard it all on a Sunday morning and afternoon, we've already heard in regards to Senator Joe Manchin saying that he's voting no on the American Family Plan, which is the infrastructure bill, which is the family stimulus bill.
I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no.
And yet we're now hearing from Senator Bernie Sanders in regards to his response to what Joe Manchin is doing and hoping that they can still get this bill passed in the up and coming months. Also, in a couple of weeks, starting in late December, those first checks will be going out for the cost of living increase for Social Security. We're going to talk about all this here on Mostly Money. Well, my name is Andre, and you're watching Mostly Money, where you're going to get all facts, no fake, no phony, and no fluffed up information when it comes to what's going on in politics today. And if you're interested in getting the truth on a daily basis, well, you've made it to the right channel. All you need to do for yourself now is subscribe. Click that bell.